So, like the title of the video says, I'm just going to be basically showcasing what I'm working on right now, what I'm kind of doing for you guys. I was requested by one of the viewers of one of my other videos that I could work on Hildryn, so that's what I've been doing. That's why this video is a little late. I'm still not completely through all of my testing for Hildryn. Just be patient. I am so far pleasantly surprised by some of her kit. But I am really disappointed, and the reason why I'm disappointed, and this is going to be more of a video talking about Hildryn in general rather than specifics. So if you guys don't want to hear any of this, just know I am working on her. I'm going to be releasing a video for all of her stuff, including her passive. So catch those videos if you don't want to hear my thoughts and opinions right now. But this is going to be kind of an overarching view of what she is. And I'm also going to showcase one little thing, and you guys have probably seen this if you looked up Hildryn at all. It's kind of cheesy, but cool nonetheless. So in any case, back to my thoughts and opinions about Hildryn. So Hildryn is an incredibly interesting design, but her skills and her general feel don't really jive. Some of her skills feel very interesting, and then other skills kind of feel, I don't even know. I'm not 100% sure if they're tacked on or they like the premise, but then they didn't know how to balance it and push it together because her kit just doesn't have any synergy. Let's go ahead and take a look at abilities. I'm going to skip her passive. Her passive has a bunch of stuff in it. Just keep in mind it's there. It has a lot of stuff. The most important thing about it is that if you have overshields, you are immune effectively to status procs. Now, there's a lot of problems with that, but we're going to get into the passive section when we go into it specifically. I really just want to do an overview of this. The other big thing about her passive is that she becomes invulnerable for a short amount of time, which we'll showcase in this video as just sort of like a teaser. Moving on, we have Balefire. It's an exalted weapon. You summon it. You have one in your hand. If you look in the video, or in the little image in the background, you have two. This occurs whenever you go into Aegis Storm, your ultimate. It doesn't fire faster. It doesn't deal any more damage. It doesn't do anything special when you pull out two. And I think that sums up kind of the problem with Hildryn, is that she has like a lot of interesting things, a lot of good things, and then they just don't capitalize on those moments to make you feel really good. And I think there's a lot of ways that they could improve this and fix it. And some of them are really small changes that I would recommend that would probably fix it outright. When I get done with this, I'm probably going to do a recommendations video for Hildryn. I think she's in a state where she's sort of very close to being amazing. Very close, just with a few tweaks here and there, and I would make one major change as well, like I said before. But let's go ahead and jump through the rest of the abilities, and then we're going to go into that little sneak peek, and then look out for my videos in the coming weeks. So we have Pillage. Pillage a percentage of shields and armor of nearby enemies. This removes status effects from Hildryn and her allies, so this is a good way to remove statuses. However, you have a very low health pool on Hildryn, and a single slash or a single gas proc can kill you very fast at high levels. So you're not, unless you're like a competitive gamer, you're not going to be able to pillage most of the time in time unless you're spamming it. And if you're spamming it, you're kind of being a support frame at that point, and that's another thing that I'm going to get to in her overall design. Two of her skills feel very supporty. Two of her skills feel very offensive. And then everything built into her stats and her passive is sort of meant to be tanky. So none of her kit kind of works together and jives. And you're going to start seeing this as we go through everything. Haven, you create a shield aura around allies. Now, this has a fairly small range for a support ability. Now, any of those allies, they're also going to project that aura out and deal damage to enemies nearby as radiation. We're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of this, but this thing is very costly if you have a large number of enemies, leading you to certain design choices, some of which are very poor in implementation. They don't really work well for what they're doing, and you kind of have to make a lot of concessions. And we're going to get into a lot of this stuff as we keep going. Aegis Storm, you fly up in the air, you have a bubble around you that CCs enemies. As you can see there, they have a higher chance to drop energy orbs every few seconds. I don't even think you have to kill them from what I've seen so far. They'll just drop them. I don't know what the chances are exactly. It is very often. The problem is you don't get a lot of utility out of energy orbs because you don't have energy. That's one of the biggest things about Hildryn is you don't have energy, you have shields instead, and dropping energy orbs is, I guess, okay, but again, it's sort of like a weird cockamamie support skill. If allies want to run over there and grab them, it produces a lot of them, so if it's good, it's OP. If it's not good, then it's useless. That's kind of the vibe of this skill. The second part of the skill is you can fly around. Now, if you look, it says take to the skies, etc., etc., etc. It's not really take to the skies. You can get up, I think, 10 meters off the ground. If you go any higher, it will govern you. It'll push you back down. If you fly over a hole, you actually fall very quickly. It's not super fast, but you do fall very... It's not good. You do not feel like you're in an air superiority position. And I feel like that's a shame because this is probably her most iconic sort of thing. So the final aspect of Aegis Storm is the fact that you can't actually shoot guns when you're in Aegis Storm. The only thing you can actually fire is Balefire itself. So any build using Aegis Storm is more than likely going to use Balefire, and we're going to talk about some of those design flaws when we get to each of these notes. So now that I've kind of went over the overview and I've kind of set the mood for these videos, this series of videos anyway, I kind of want to show a kind of a shred of light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spawn a bunch of heavy gunners. Notice the AI is off, invincibility is off. I have Arcane Aegis procced on my character, and you're going to see that I have become literally immortal. So if you guys have looked up Hildryn at all and figured out how she sort of works, you're going to kind of know about this build. We're going to cover it when we cover certain aspects of her, probably her passive. But just know that you can be absolutely, completely invulnerable pretty much 100% of the time. And there's only one real way you can die, and that's, again, to slash or toxin procs. But even then, you're going to do it very slowly over time with the ability to recover. So, that all being said, that's all I have for this video. But I did want to show you guys at least something because I haven't really gotten into the nitty-gritty or the numbers. I just wanted you guys to know where I've been and that I am working on stuff. I am looking into numbers and such. It's just taking me a while because I do not have the expertise on Hildryn that I did on Vauban. So it is just going to take me a little bit of time, but like always, I really want to put out something that's deep and meaningful. Or, I mean, not deep, but, you know, a deep dive into the numbers so that we can actually learn every single aspect about the skill, at least what's possible. But that being said, I think that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys.